You're listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 84. Today on Self Saturdays, I'm sharing about a recent entrepreneurial low I experienced that really rocked my world, the emotions and the beliefs that came to surface, what I did to navigate them, and the lessons that I learned. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hey there, I'm your host, Jessica Fergon, and I am passionate about doing the inner work needed to reach your goals. Let me be your guide as we navigate all the fears and insecurities that surface when it's time to step outside of your comfort zone. Along with my knowledgeable guests and industry experts, I'm here to teach you how to reawaken your life purpose and passion and create the steps to turn your intentions into action. Ultimately, my goal is to empower you to rise above those blocks holding you back and start living a life that you are worthy and deserving of. So come on, it's time to slow down. Find a comfy spot with your favorite organic tea and get inspired. Thank you for tuning in to the Love Unplugged podcast. Happy Saturday morning, loves. I'm so honored to have you join me for another Self Saturdays episode. But before we start, I want to share how I'm setting myself up for this episode. Today, I am drinking Nutmeg Milk's blend, The Andes. And if you are here in Vancouver, BC, this is a must try. They are hand-pressed dairy-free nut milks made with raw, organic, and nutrient-rich ingredients. And they are the best I have ever had. No joke. I'm also diffusing Vitruvi's Boost Essential Oil, which is so fresh and it reminds me of summer, which is getting close to being over now. How did that even happen? I mean, time flew by so fast. All right, so let's get back to this deep and dark episode. Well, it is for me at least. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed that I went offline for a week. And today I'm going to be talking about what prompted this and what my experience was like. In my last Self Saturdays episode, number 82, I talked about how I was focusing on the money aspects of my business and how it was blocking me creatively. I was doing better when I shifted my focus off money and back to what I loved doing, but unfortunately, I didn't quite deal with those emotions I was having and things snowballed big time. So leading up to last Friday, I was feeling majorly discouraged and frustrated. I was so frustrated that I wasn't growing as fast as I thought I should or could be. I was frustrated that I had spent the last 3 years of my life working so many hours to only be this far in my business. I was frustrated with myself thinking that maybe it was actually me. Maybe I wasn't meant to be an entrepreneur and maybe I didn't have what it takes to become successful. I was frustrated that I put in quite a bit of money to date on this business and I wasn't seeing any results, and I could have maybe used that money elsewhere in my life, like maybe putting a down payment on a home or paying off my car or going on trips and vacations or whatnot. I was frustrated that others were growing at rapid speeds and I wasn't even clear what they were all about or what they offered. And here I was trying to be super clear and creating a foundation and being niche, and I felt stuck. I was frustrated that there were so many cliques and it seemed like everyone was keeping to their social circles in business, and I wanted to be a part of a group of inspiring and strong women myself. Like, it's just so hard to find people that you can connect with and build actual friendships with and be part of these circles and kind of motivate each other and bounce ideas off each other and brainstorm and all those types of things. And I just kind of felt like an outsider. I was discouraged that I was growing at such easier levels in my day job, just recently being given a promotion of director of operations. And maybe that was a sign that I should solely focus on my day job, as that was giving me the recognition and the salary that I wanted for all of my hard work that I put in. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Friday last week, I had my coaching session with Cassie of The Wild Ride as usual. We meet once a month. And I had a list of all the things that I wanted to talk about, all prepared and ready for the meeting. One of which was talking about a product idea, because a few days prior to that, I thought maybe it would be easier to grow faster if I had an actual product to offer that I love and use regularly. Now, she knew I was experiencing a low because I had messaged her a couple days prior and told her, wow, this low that I was going through was kind of rough and whatnot. So she asked me first thing how I was doing. And out came the emotions that I just couldn't contain anymore. Now, I don't cry in public. I don't like to cry in front of people. I think for me, it's just such a personal, emotional release that I just like to do alone in my bedroom or wherever I am and just be with myself. But I just couldn't hold it in anymore. And the tears just kept coming and they were just like pouring out of me. I shared all my feelings of frustration and how I felt like giving up and throwing in the towel because really was it worth it? Maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe I should just give it up now and, use all this free time in my evenings and my weekends to have a life and to do things that I like and to use that money for other things and whatnot. Feelings like not being enough, feeling like an outsider, feeling like a failure, feeling like I'm not capable, feeling like others are better than me. These are all the things that I was sharing with her. And my session, unfortunately, took a turn that I didn't expect. I think she saw what I couldn't or wouldn't allow myself to, that I needed a break. Now, Cassie knows me pretty well. She knows I go full throttle and how I schedule myself and how hard I work. And she told me to take some time off, starting immediately. And immediately I was like, no, I can't do that. I just released a podcast episode yesterday that I need to promote for the next week. I have interviews scheduled next week that I need to prepare for. I have to edit and prep the episode for next Thursday. I need to email more guests for interviews. Like there's just so much that I needed to do and to stay on top of. And I worried that I would lose a bunch of followers being inactive, which we all know growing your following is hard enough as it is at the beginning. I worked hard for those that were following me, and I didn't want to lose any. I didn't want to disappoint my community. I wanted to be consistent. I wanted to show up, and I didn't want to lose any opportunities, and I didn't want to get further behind. I didn't want to miss out on what others were doing as well. And she said, you can push things out. You can tell your guests the episodes will be delayed. They will understand. Your business will not come to an end just because you are taking a week off. And I started with okay, let's see about maybe taking 2 to 3 days off. I can manage to stay on track with everything that I have planned, taking a few days off. That's not a big deal. I can work around that. At the end, she was like, no, you need to take a week off. You need to unplug and dig deep into this low and find the golden nuggets that are there for you to learn from. And at the end, I really knew she was right. And immediately I felt this huge sense of relief knowing that I was taking a week off to step away and to reset. It was easier than I thought. I only had to rearrange 3 things in order to take this time off, which I thought was going to be a whole number of things. I emailed those that I needed to advise of the change in schedule and then uninstalled Instagram from my phones. Yes, I have 2 phones. And I stayed away from my biz laptop. So I put it all away. And at first it was so hard. I didn't think I had too much of an issue with social media, but holy crap, I needed that detox. For the first couple days, I was reaching for my phone and my finger immediately was looking for Instagram. I caught myself saying so many times, I should be taking a picture of this and posting it to Instagram. I should be sharing this. And how sad is it that I couldn't be present in the moment because I felt the need to share what I was doing or eating on social media. Now, something else that Cassie said stood out for me, and that was to be intentional with what I was creating. I didn't think about this too much during our chat because my mind was racing elsewhere, but when I was taking this time off, this really started to become louder and louder as the days went on. It was really tough sitting with my emotions and digging deep into them and figuring out why I was feeling it was, and it came down to 3 different things. So 1, not feeling good enough. 2, not feeling heard or seen. And 3, not believing in myself. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the root of those beliefs, but they do stem from my childhood, and I can now pinpoint the moments that those beliefs started, and that was not fun to relive. But I realize that those feelings I have, and even though I do need to do the work to heal them and to create better beliefs, have nothing to do with the present situation. They are not the present and they are not my truth. I realized that I needed to get back to my core values and I needed to set some boundaries in my business. I also needed to deal with those beliefs and do the inner work to heal them so that I don't keep circling back over and over with the same beliefs. So in this time off, I started putting together my own version of a personal manifesto, what I wanted in my life, what I was going to do to put everything in place. And here are some highlights from it. So 1, I was going to rearrange my schedule to have deep focus sessions and leave more room for free time. I really enjoyed having, time to do whatever I wanted. And I don't usually have a lot of that. And, I think I need to schedule that in more often. So having these sessions, these deep focus sessions, a few times a week where I really just do crunch time work and just power through everything that I need to get done so that I'm able to have more free time was something that I felt I really needed. For some reason right now, I would be like, okay, Saturday is my working day. So I knew in my head that I had all day on, Sunday. I had all day on Sundays to do whatever work I needed to focus on that day. So I would take my time and just make it last all day. But if I really focused hard and just kind of took away all the distractions, then I could actually get all that work done in 3 to 5 hours and have the rest of the day as my free time. So I needed to really get more clear and focused with my scheduling. My second one is to treat Instagram like it's part of my business. So stop wasting time scrolling for fun, which I would do for a long time, and go on only when I need to post something for the business. And that's it. My third one is unfollow or mute anyone that triggers me in any way and only follow those that inspire and motivate me and are what I aspire to be in the future in any form. So really look at who I'm following and start creating a really high standard of those that I choose to follow. Be intentional. So my fourth one is to really take Cassie's advice and to be more intentional with what I'm creating. So stop posting for the sake of posting, as fun as it is sometimes for, seeing what people are doing in their life and eating and whatnot. That has nothing to do with my business. That has nothing to do with what I'm trying to put out. Once in a while, maybe it's fine, but I was doing it way too often and it wasn't needed. It was taking me out of being present in the everyday. So taking the time to plan out my content so that it aligns with my purpose and brings value to those watching or reading and is staying on topic. The fifth one was being extremely protective of my bubble with whom and what I let inside it and stay solely focused on what I'm doing, what my goals are, what I want to accomplish, and forgetting everything else. So really just staying in my bubble, staying focused on what I'm doing, what I'm creating, where I want to go, things like that, and being really protective and strict with what I am allowing to come inside my bubble. The sixth one is to focus on the inner work that I need to do to continue growing and show up as the woman that I aspire to be today in the now. So I've created my long-term goals and I know the person that I need to be to get there. So I need to start showing up as her right now in this moment. So all of the qualities that I see her having when I achieve those goals, the skills, things like that, I need to start showing up as that now. 7 is focus on what matters. So providing value, serving rather than, focusing on the numbers and the dollars, those will come when I stay in my zone and I put my energy and focus on what is truly important. And that's serving and putting out quality content for my community. 8 would be simplifying what I'm doing. So rather than trying to focus my energy on so many different things, narrowing down what my focus is on a few things and then make them great rather than doing all this stuff and making them okay. 9 is get out in nature more regularly, spend spend quality time, with my loved ones, because this did wonders for me in the last week. Just really getting out in nature for extended long period walks was really great. Breathing in the fresh air, talking with family and friends, and not about business, but just like having conversations about anything. That was really, really good for me. And then my last one that is a highlight from the manifesto is number 10, and that's to give myself permission to unplug more regularly. I am not living solely to work. I am a human being that should be living life and enjoying it as well. And work is not everything. It's really not. And at the end of the day or at the end of my life, I don't want to look back and be regretful that I spent all my time working and I didn't spend any time enjoying life. So that is highlights from my manifesto, but I want to hear from you guys now. So what have your lows been like? What feelings came to surface for you? What beliefs do you have to heal? How did you navigate that low, and what lessons did it teach you? So that wraps up another Self Saturdays episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your thoughts on these episodes. Are you liking them? Is there a certain topic you want to hear from me on? I definitely want to know. I love connecting with you guys, so please reach out and share your thoughts with me. You can do this by either leaving me a review on the episode, which I would super appreciate, but you can also head over to my Instagram. My handle is @ProjectLoveCo, and send me a DM. You can also connect with me through my website, www.projectloveco.com, and sign up for my love letters, where you'll receive my best advice, practices, and tools that I use to change my journey of self-discovery. So have a wonderful Saturday, and I hope you guys take some time to invest in yourselves today. I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.